like to welcome everyone on this warm morning. I didn't prepare anything for today, but you should know that this hall is the only hall in this area. And the emphasis is to find your own self-liberation from the suffering that you see everywhere, which is promoted by greed, anger, and ignorance. I mean, it was the same since Buddha. That's 2,589 years ago. Same thing. So, I mean, there was war, famine. Just the same thing when Buddha was there. And also, I remember the story, which was promoted by greed, anger, and ignorance, that Buddha sat on a road and he saw his army coming, and they were going to destroy the Shakya clan because of some exchange the two clans had with each other. And one lied to the it was Buddha's clan, lied to the other clan. And so that other clan was coming to destroy his clan. So what could Buddha do? So there was a big dead tree, and he sat underneath the tree. And I imagine it was very hot. As the army approached, they saw the Buddha sitting in the tree. They asked him, "Why are you sitting under the tree?" Because he said, "It's cool and the breeze is nice." That's all he said. It's cool and the breeze is nice. And somehow that struck. I forgot the leader's name. So he turned back. And this happened 3 times, 2 more times. The third time it didn't work. Somehow the leader of the warriors heard exactly what Buddha said. But the second and third time, he didn't hear anymore. So he destroyed Buddha's clan. I mean, you can imagine. So you should know when you come here, this is not a place for entertainment. It's discipline you should not be afraid of discipline. Because discipline is a training, it's a preparation, so you can find what you really have inside. Since birth, we've been conditioned to the material, to the relative world. We see things as good and bad. We separate things, because that's what we're taught. As soon as we, at birth, it starts at birth. The nourishment was outside of ourselves. And then culture, tradition, mother, conditions, it goes on and on. School, it confirms that separation. Everything is outside. That's why we're looking outside, but we don't look in. People train their bodies. You can have open training centers that go and get, on the Marina Greens in San Francisco. But no one trains their mind because people are ignorant that the mind controls the body. So wherever you go, you take your mind. And with your mind depends on your greed, anger, ignorance. You create your karma. And you cannot get out of it. There's no way to get out but in. That's the missing thing. Looking inside. And maybe for some of us it's kind of very strange. We never look inside. We always look outside. I saw just briefly some Chinese, I guess, anthropologists, and they were in China, and the graves or the tombs of the emperors, it went down instead of up like pyramids. It went down, and I guess they're Chinese archaeologists. They opened it up. They were able to open it up, and they found all these relics and treasures. But actually, they're pilfering. They what is said most of the time is that, oh, this tomb has not been pilfered, but you're a pilferer also. Um, People on TV, you see them doing something good, picking up stuff on the beach, right? All over the world. And that's good action. But actually, who did it? We never look at the people did it. With the absence of, or the fullness of greed, anger, and ignorance. That's what the people did. You're doing good, but actually, that's the symptom. The cause is us. We're the cause of climate change. Basic, not Amazon. In Hojo-san told me, like in Iceland, they're building a huge. Now, Iceland is not a very large country, so they're building a huge structure, maybe what, Hojo-san, like 10 times larger than the Zendo here, or more, that purifies the air. And Iceland has the best air, but they're building one there. But it's caused by big companies like Amazon, because everyone is, I mean, I'm even an Amazon customer because it's convenient and it's easy, but everyone is feeding from that. And they cannot stop it because everyone's involved in it. But you know, how can you stop it? You can stop it or you can refrain from it here. This is what you have to work on. Not somebody else. Like say there's a family and one child is having a difficulty, you say you should go see a therapist. But actually, it's the whole family. It's part of that therapy, not just over there. It's back to the parents and the other kids. So I can't stress how important it is to work on yourself in a zendo, in a hall like this. There's no other place. All the other places are entertainment. And then all of a sudden you're going to die. And then what? I mean, it's frightening. But you should work on yourself because that's where it comes from. There's no other place. And there's no other time. Since 2022, the Western Hemisphere, 3 continents are experiencing a lot extreme heat, and the people who die, 90% of the people who die are over 60. That's part of us. And actually, when you're younger, my son gave me something from Kaiser saying about heat for older people. It starts when you're 40 or 45. And it starts affecting you. So my Cam used to drink a lot of water. start drinking a lot of water, but you know, the heat can be your friend also if we know what's happening. Hmm? Our bodies are not what they used to be. We cannot push our bodies. We have to appreciate our body. And when you're in a hurry, slow down and just feel the cup in your hand. Feel the movement of the cup to the table and enjoy it. So that's why Zen puts emphasis on the moment. The past has not arrived, nor is the future coming. It's the moment. That's the only thing we have. And once you experience that moment, it's gone. Once you even experience your self-liberation, it's gone too. Because nothing is permanent. We want to keep it. That's what we're taught. We want to keep it because we think it's an object outside of yourself, like we've been conditioned to. Actually, schooling, conditioned, then what do you do after schooling? You look for a job, or you go to college. And it's more conditioning, and then you get a job. You raise a family, and you have kids, you're happy, but the father has to drive 50 miles all the way to New York, to San Francisco every day in heavy traffic now. It's really heavy. That takes hours just to travel to support your family. And what does that do to a person? It kills your spirit. You're supposed to be happy because you paid for your car or your home, but are you? You know? And it's really sad. You don't see many old people happy. You don't see happy people at Kaiser. It's really sad. Nothing to smile about. Those are the casualties of this affluent society that we have everything. The Buddha predicted this can be a metaphor or it could be an absolute. After he dies, that was almost 2,600 years ago, there will be 500 years of true Dharma, the truth, Dharma in action, the realization of Dharma, authentic Dharma. The next 1,000 years is just a resemblance of Dharma. And one more 1,000 years, that's 2,500 years now, we're in that, is the degeneration of Dharma, the truth, the ultimate truth in the Buddha Dharma. But it's not just in the Buddha Dharma, it's in the entire world. Everything is falling apart. There's no ethics. There's no guidelines for people to grow. There's no foundation. All our presidents should be an example for our society. It just, we can laugh at it, but it's a really sad situation. And they are examples for our children. Anyway, maybe this is enough, but if you train, there's not if, you have to train, because your condition is solid, and you have to turn around. Turning around is training your condition. And whether we like it or not, there's no other way. If you can find another way, please tell me. Maybe there's a shortcut, but there's no shortcut. You have to unravel your own condition. Each person's condition is different from another person. You have to unravel that condition. So you're free from who you think you are. Who you think you are is the condition, is what you have to work with. It's just the way it is. We don't have to be ashamed of it or anything, but that's what we have to do. And I urge you to do it, because soon you will be guaranteed to die. That's one truth. And we don't know how soon or later it is. The Karmapa, who's in the Tibetan tradition, the 16th Karmapa, had never been out of Tibet nor Nepal. And they took him, the Trungpa's Samga took him, the Shambhala Samga took him to New York City. That's the first time on an airplane, and then they took him on the Empire State Building, and when he got up to the top, he looked down and he started crying. All those people will die in ignorance. So within this darkness, there's light. It works that way. That's the principle of the universe. Within there's sadness, there's a little laughter. Because if it wasn't like that, the whole universe would perish. There's the sun, there's the moon, there's lightness, there's darkness. There's female and there's male. And in Zen especially, there's the 5 skandhas that we chant in the Heart Sutra. And the skandhas in Sanskrit means scattering. And it's made up of our form, sensation, our perception, our discrimination. Discrimination also means your memory and consciousness, what you're conscious of. Those 5 create your idea of who you think you are. And it's called scattering. But in Chinese and Japanese kanji, calligraphy in the Heart Sutra, it says when it gets to the skandhas, when we chant, we get to the skandhas, it says 5 bundles. Now, how do you get 5 bundles in scattering? Because in scattering, there's a bundle. And when you sit zazen, when you're completely where you are, those 5 skandhas have dissolved, and there's the bundle. You're free. So what we're taught is darkness. The dark is separated from light. Everything's separated. One more thing, then I'm going to ask questions. What are your comments? In the Lankavatara Sutra, there are 3 realities. Imagined reality, dependent reality, and perfected reality. Okay. Imagined reality is what I explained already. That you see, because of our whole life is about conditioning. in Zen, we're going against the stream. We're going against the stream of conditioning. Okay? So, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, so our whole life is controlled by our conditioning. And the 5 skandhas is the 5 bundles. So within the scattering and the bundle in Zazen, and when I say Zazen, Za means sit Zen. And Suzuki Roshi used the word just sit. This is the better word because when you're sitting, you're just sitting. That's the only thing you're doing. No thinking, no enlightenment, no Zen, nothing. You're just sitting. And that's when you're liberated. And that's when actually you feel the depth of the profundity of calmness that's here. But you still have to realize it. You already have it when you sit. And that's why people like to sit. But they don't know it. And someone needs to point it out. But still, you have to realize, you have to have the direct experience of Buddha's insight. Otherwise, we perish just like everyone else. So, just in a nutshell, in Zen, or even if we don't even call it Zen, we are, or humanity needs this realization. So we don't need to conquer the world. We don't need to control the world. We don't need to control or make climate change because we're looking at the change inside. It's all inside here, not out there. It's easier to say, it's out there. It's not my fault. But we're all involved in the same thing. So in order to live as a true human being, you have to realize that the subject and object are not in conflict. They contain each other. And in just sit, those opposites are dissolved. That's the purpose of Zen. And when they're dissolved, you have been liberated from yourself and from all things that we think we own or are attached to. We are liberated. And we have the ability, the capacity to help other people. So until that happens, it actually already has happened, but you have not realized it. It's not far away. It's within, it's too near to even think, you could think it's that close. But because you have it, that's why you realize it. Otherwise, if you didn't have it, you can't realize it. When you see something beautiful, it's not out there, it's here that you recognize out there. So, yeah, I think that's enough, huh? Okay, open for questions, please. Yes.
Someone said 5 skandhas are a doorway to awakening.
Yeah.
Do you care to comment?
Yeah, there's no comment. The skandhas is the bundle. It is the doorway. It's not, there's no discussion. That's what disappears. That's what the liberation is from the 5 skandhas. 5 skandhas is scattering. The mind is chaotic, can't concentrate, can't focus, can't see straight. Here's an example, the imagined reality in the Lankavatara Sutra. Because we can't see straight and we divide things, which causes suffering. There's an analogy of the snake and the rope. Most people don't see the rope, they see the snake. That's the reality. That's your reality. That's what you see. That's what you buy into. You see the snake, but you don't see the rope. And then there's the dependent. The dependent reality is a little bit better because you see things as dependent, interdependent on each other. And actually that was dependent origination, Buddha, how Buddha became enlightened. It starts with ignorance and it goes all the way down to old age, sickness, and death. And those 12 links, how they continue to create a false sense of self. But anyway, for dependent reality, we see the whole web of imagined reality on top of the dependent reality. And we can actually identify the difference between the rope and the snake. But because we give it a name, it remains an arbitrary designation. It's just a name, but the name is a separation from reality until you have direct experience of reality. Of course, and then there's perfected reality, where you see things in front of you as it is. There's no projection. Or else you, to further that, the truth is ineffable, right? But we could say it is and it isn't. I mean, it is a table, but I never named it and I use it, but at the same time, it isn't just a table. It's part of you. And if it's part of you, we treat the table differently. We don't throw it around or drag it. You know, it serves me, and I'm happy with this table. I can put my hands on it. You know, this is an object, but it's still alive because it helps you keep alive, and you appreciate it. You appreciate its existence. This hall. So it is and it isn't. We can explain it that way. Conventionally, it is. Non-conventionally or Zen, it isn't. Because we haven't realized what this table actually is. Hey, that's pretty good, huh? No, I mean, that's in a nutshell.
Yeah, I just want to say that when we chant the Heart Sutra, it's everything that you talked about. And instead of just reading the words and going through the motions, I think for myself, I need to pay attention to it as a reminder of everything that you said in your talk today is in the Heart Sutra.
Yeah.
The skandhas, everything is in there. And I just think that when we do it, we need to really, really pay attention to it.
Yeah. Including myself. Even though I'm Chinese, but I had a very bad education in Chinese when I was young because I was beaten a lot. And so, and it was very painful. And we were locked in a room. If we couldn't write, we couldn't recite, and we couldn't. It was very difficult, and we had to do this after school. So I rebelled against it. But just lately, I have the screen that Boomju, the artist that painted the Bodhidharma, gave me. And he gave it to me real quick when we were leaving, Hojo-san, when we were leaving his studio. And then he gave me another one real quick. He gave me two Heart Sutras. So the first one I framed, but I found out it was only a sketch. You know how you write things real fast, and he was just trying to get the spacing and how many letters in each line. The second one is the one in the Genjo cabin. If you see me, you will see what I say. And I can trace some of those. Then I came to 5 scan, and I looked it up. It's the 5 bundles. Now, how did the Chinese and the Japanese get 5 bundles out of something scattering? So that implies the opposites coexist. In Zazen, they dissolve each other. That's it. I mean, the Heart Sutra. I mean, even when we chant, Hojo-san is teaching everybody to chant in unison. Because in unison, there's a strength, there's a oneness in the voice that you are not individually. You are not just one star in the galaxy. There's all these stars coexist together. We are interdependent, and we make a galaxy. That's what we're doing in chanting. We should learn to chant, and the chants are primordial sound. It's creating the environment for you to be reborn, if you want to say. And the forms, all the forms we do here are not about ceremony. It's about finding yourself. So years ago, this simple gesture is the most important gesture in humanity, because everyone does it. They put their palms together when something is good, when something is true. They clap their hands when they're happy. And in religion, in ceremony, they put their palms, but they don't even know what they're doing. So I did this experiment. I went around, and when I was at the dental office, I asked the technician to do the gasho with me as just humanity's best gesture. And then we acknowledge each other in Zen. Of course, we gasho, and then when we bow, universally, you must bow on the exhalation, and you bow. Oh, hey, let's do it together, okay? Okay, we see each other, and we bow on the exhalation. We do it slow. Go slow, 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 until you get to the very end. Your thinking mind is stopped. Then you come up with that feeling. Is it true? Mm-hmm. See, no one teaches that because it's lost. See, your thinking mind has stopped. It's not impossible. And now you start thinking about how many times you exhale during Zazen. You will go to the same place. And just remembering, like you said, when you start remembering the end of the exhalation, that's what happens. That is self-liberation. And it will grow, but it takes yourself to train or remember. Like you said, we have to remember it. And in time, the form will embody yourself. There's no thinking, because you're embodying, you're becoming the form. Okay? all these statues and images of the Buddha Dharma, we think of them as outside of ourselves, but actually they represent aspects of yourself. Over there where you're looking is the god of war. But you know what the god of war in the Chinese tradition, he means peace, not war. The god of war represents peace. And it's not outside yourself. It's within here. And Avalokiteshvara over here, she is not over there, she's here. Everything is here. The person next to you is a Buddha. Everyone is a Buddha. Everything is a Buddha. Right next to you. But we've already separated the person right next to you. But even the altar is a Buddha. The floor is a Buddha. And she, if you look carefully at her, hey, this may be the largest wooden statue in America. We don't know. We haven't done any research, but it's here. And if you look at the faces on her head, the crown of her head, she went through hell. Each face is not a smiling face, but because she wears it as a crown, means everything is workable. Anything is workable. And as you go around the crown, from the hell faces around, it becomes less anguish, less greed, less ignorance, and then a Buddha appears, and then there's a Buddha on top of her head. She becomes the Buddha. So what I'm saying is, it's not far. It's not India, it's not Japan, it's not China. It's here. Trungpa said the Dharma will come over here, but actually he was just upaya, skillful means, because the Dharma's already here. How could anything come over here if it wasn't here? Yeah. Did I hear somebody? Yeah, Lynn.
This morning, after the work period, I was sitting in the Sangha hall and I started to reflect on the First Noble Truth, the truth of suffering. And it's a fact, it's not an opinion. It's a fact that can't escape anyone's notice. And I have a very dear friend who is a very dedicated Christian. And in Christianity, the image of Christ on the cross, the suffering is the suffering of all beings. And I thought about the image of Avalokiteshvara in this hall, and her head is split into myriad heads. It's the suffering of the world. And those two images, Christ on the cross and Avalokiteshvara, it's suffering and compassion together. And it seems they're one, they're inseparable. Do you have any observations on that?
There's no observation, because even delusion and enlightenment are inseparable. It's the opposites I'm talking about. Suffering and compassion, delusion and enlightenment. In fact, when I was younger, when I read the Four Noble Truths, the first noble truth was life is suffering. And I said, gee, I'm not sure if I like this. Yeah, I mean, if you hear it, it's not very inviting, but it's the truth. And in other words, other times, other writings you'll hear, the first noble truth is life is impermanent. It's the same as suffering, because we never think of impermanency. Someday this earth will perish at the rate we're going. I'm afraid to say so. We will all die. We're not doing any better. I mean, we have fancy cars. People do rap music with all kinds of gestures, and in the night they put their eyes. I don't have an iPhone, but they turn it on. They have all these things. It's a lot of joy and entertainment. But that's just a moment. I mean, it's good to. I'm not saying we can't enjoy things. When you enjoy something, enjoy it. You know, but it's not. It won't last very long. It won't make you really happy before you die. Yeah.
Many of us come up here to the Zen Center from down below, and so we're driving up, have a nice time up here, and then we drive home. Any suggestions, recommendations of how we bring what we've experienced or felt here back with us into our daily lives as we go down the mountain, back home for the family?
As you go down the mountain, you're thinking of your obligations, because I have a family, or you're thinking of something else instead of enjoying the ride. Hey, it's smooth. Did you notice that? Hey, no kidding. For 50 years, it's never been smooth. And when we first moved there, it was even worse. Potholes. And I said they should fix the road. But as longer I stayed here, I hope they never fix the road, because people will drive faster, including myself, and there will be more cars. See? Yeah, yeah, you don't have to think about it. Yeah, I think the most important thing is the hall where you do the work. That's the most important thing. And whatever happens when you drive down just to be with your family, you will see how it evolves, how it reflects your your practice in the hall when you get home. No, I didn't say that. But there's spaciousness. It just reflects. Yeah, the moment. Enjoy the moment as you're going down, as you drive, even your hands on the steering wheel. You know, we forget to do that. And there's just less thinking. Just less thinking. Because there's no need. There's no need to think until you get there, or you know.
I don't remember who, but I heard someone say that the feeling and the ideas and perspectives that doing zazen and embracing Zen can't be explained, and it can only be experienced. Is that the same kind of idea that you're talking about, in the sense of coming to the hall and doing that work to figure out your own self?
Yeah, it's not figuring out. It's letting go. Letting go is a very common term. So, on the exhalation, you're letting go. We don't know how important inhalation and exhalation is. It's on the exhalation that you let go. It's on the exhalation where the strength is, where you chop with an axe or engage someone. It's on the exhalation when you let go of your thinking. Physically, you know, you disappear on the exhalation. So we need to refine that, not independently, but with a group of people, because it makes a strong body that not only you are doing it by yourself, but you are with other beings doing the same thing. You don't have to shop anymore. It's right here. Isn't that a relief? But you have to show up. That's the point. Most people don't show up. It's too hard. I'd rather just do my own thing. But when you pick and choose, that's what the Zen container is very strict, because you can't pick and choose in the Zen container. When you pick and choose, you create karma. You create greed, anger, and ignorance. I'm sorry to say this, but just think about it. It's true. Okay, 12 o'clock. How about that? Right on the nose. Okay.